Have you ever walked into your kitchen in the morning, seen a sink full of dirty dishes, and felt a strange heaviness, like the day's already off to a bad start? It's not just about the mess. It is almost like those unwashed plates are whispering something about your life, your energy, your flow. A lot of us go through this without even realizing it, pushing forward, trying so hard to get ahead, but feeling stuck, like something's holding us back. Today we were diving into why leaving dirty dishes overnight in your sink might be more than just a bad habit. It could be quietly inviting poverty and spiritual blockages into your life. This isn't about judgment or superstition for the sake of it, Rio de Janeiro. It's about connecting with a deeper truth rooted in ancient wisdom and modern understanding. We're going to explore this in a light, practical way, blending the spiritual insights of Buddhism with everyday practices that can shift your energy and open new doors. But before we begin, write in the comments, "I let go of what weighs me down to embrace the flow of abundance." And if you stay until the end, I'll share a simple, powerful ritual inspired by Eastern spirituality that you can do tonight to clear your energy and invite prosperity. So stick with me. Let's start with a little story. Imagine you're standing by a river, watching the water flow effortlessly. It's clear, vibrant, moving forward. Now picture a pile of debris, sticks, leaves, trash clogging up the stream. The water slows, grows murky, and the life in it struggles. That river, it's your energy, your life force. Those dirty dishes sitting in your sink overnight are like that debris, creating stagnation in your home's energetic flow. In Buddhist teachings, everything is interconnected: your environment, your mind, your spirit. A cluttered space reflects a cluttered mind, and a cluttered mind blocks the path to abundance. It's not just about aesthetics, it's about how energy moves through your life. Think about it. Your kitchen is the heart of your home, where nourishment is created, where life is sustained. Leaving dishes piled up overnight is like letting that heart skip a beat. In Eastern spirituality, particularly in practices like Feng Shui, the kitchen represents wealth and health. A sink full of dirty dishes disrupts that harmony, signaling to the universe that you're not ready to receive more. It's like telling prosperity, "Not now, I'm too busy." And you know what's interesting about this? It's not just about the dishes themselves, it's about what they represent: procrastination, avoidance, or even a lack of respect for your own space. Let's bring this to life with an example. A friend of mine, Sarah, used to leave her dishes in the sink every night. She'd tell herself she'd deal with them in the morning, but she always woke up feeling sluggish, uninspired, like the day was already heavier than it needed to be. She didn't connect it to the dishes at first. She thought it was just her busy life. But when she started washing her dishes before bed, something shifted. She said it was like clearing a mental fog. Her mornings felt lighter, her work flowed better, and she even started noticing little bits of unexpected money coming her way. A refund here, a side gig there. Coincidence? Maybe. But in spiritual traditions, there's no such thing as coincidence. Everything is energy, and energy responds to intention. Now, I'm not saying you have to scrub your sink until it shines every night. Life's messy and we're all human. But there's a deeper principle here rooted in mindfulness, a core Buddhist concept. Mindfulness isn't just about meditating, it's about being present in the small moments, like washing a plate with care, treating it as an act of gratitude for the meal you ate. When you leave dishes overnight, you're putting off that moment of presence, letting stagnation settle in. And stagnation, my friends, is the enemy of abundance. Here's a comparison to chew on. Think of your sink as your mind. When it's full of unwashed thoughts, worries, grudges, unfinished tasks, it gets heavy, right? The same goes for your physical space. A sink full of dishes is like a mind full of clutter, blocking the flow of clarity and opportunity. In Eastern spirituality, they talk about qi, the life force that flows through everything. A clean, clear sink lets the qi flow freely, inviting positive energy into your home. A dirty sink, it's like putting up a do not disturb sign for prosperity. And speaking of qi, let's talk about how this ties into poverty. Not just financial poverty, but spiritual poverty, that feeling of emptiness or disconnection. When you let dishes pile up, you're subtly telling yourself that your space, your time, your energy aren't worth the effort. That's a poverty mindset. and it's a magnet for more lack. On the flip side, taking a few minutes to clear the sink is an act of self-respect, a signal to the universe that you're ready to receive. It's like opening a window to let fresh air into a stuffy room. This leads us to another important point, which many people overlook: the power of small, intentional actions. You don't need to overhaul your life to shift your energy. Just start with one dish, one moment of mindfulness. It's like planting a tiny seed that grows into something beautiful. You know how sometimes you make a small change, like drinking more water or going to bed 10 minutes earlier, and suddenly you feel like a new person. It's not just your body responding, it's your whole energy shifting. That's what we're diving into now, the ripple effect of those tiny intentional acts, like washing your dishes before bed, and how they can transform the flow of your life. We're not talking about scrubbing pots to chase away bad vibes in some rigid, superstitious way. This is about tapping into a deeper rhythm, one that's been understood in spiritual traditions like Buddhism for centuries, where the smallest actions carry the weight of intention and open the door to abundance. Imagine you're starting your day walking into your kitchen. The sink is clean, the counters are clear, and there's this quiet sense of calm. You make your coffee, and instead of feeling rushed or weighed down, you're present, ready to take on whatever comes. That's the magic of a clear space. It's not just about the physical tidiness, it's about creating room for clarity, for possibility. In Buddhist teachings, they often talk about emptiness, but not in a negative way. Emptiness is potential, a blank canvas for something new. A clean sink is like that empty canvas, inviting fresh energy, new opportunities, even prosperity. A sink full of dishes from last night, it's like trying to paint on a canvas already covered in someone else's mess. Let's make this real with a story. I once knew a guy named Raj who was struggling to get his small business off the ground. He was talented, hard-working, but nothing seemed to click. Clients were slow to pay, deals fell through. One day he was venting to his grandmother, who grew up steeped in Eastern spiritual traditions. She didn't lecture him about business plans or marketing. Instead, she asked, "Do you clean your kitchen every night?" Raj laughed it off at first, thinking it was some old-school superstition. But she explained that a cluttered kitchen, especially a sink full of dishes, sends a message to the universe that you're not ready for more. It's like leaving a no-vacancy sign on your life. Raj decided to try it, not because he fully believed it, but because he was desperate for a change. He started washing his dishes every night, treating it like a ritual, a moment to clear not just the sink, but his mind. Within weeks, he noticed a shift. New clients started calling, and he felt more focused, like the fog was lifting. Was it just the dishes? Maybe not. But that small act of discipline, of care, set off a chain reaction. What's fascinating here is how this connects to the idea of karma, not the pop culture version, but the real Buddhist principle of cause and effect. Every action you take, no matter how small, plants a seed. Leaving dishes in the sink might seem trivial, but it's an action of neglect, and neglect breeds more neglect. Washing them, on the other hand, is an act of mindfulness, of taking control of your space and your energy. It's like saying, "I'm here, I'm present, I'm ready for what's next." And the universe, it listens. Here's a practical tip you can try tonight. When you're washing your dishes, don't just rush through it. Make it a moment of connection. Feel the warm water, notice the sound of the plates clinking. Breathe. In Eastern spirituality, there's this idea that every task, no matter how mundane, can be a meditation if you bring your full attention to it. Try saying a simple affirmation as you wash, something like, "I clear my space, I clear my mind, I welcome abundance." It doesn't have to be fancy, just something that feels true to you. You'll be amazed at how this small shift can make your evenings feel lighter, your mornings more open. And speaking of evenings, let's think about what happens when you leave those dishes overnight. It's not just about the physical mess, it's the mental weight. You go to bed knowing there's a task left undone, and that lingers like a tiny pebble in your shoe. It's subtle, but it adds up. In spiritual terms, it's like letting negative energy sit in your home, festering. In many traditions, nighttime is when energies settle, when the home absorbs the day's intentions. A clean sink signals completion, a fresh start. A dirty one? It's like carrying yesterday's baggage into tomorrow. This isn't about perfection. You don't need a spotless kitchen to feel abundant. It's about progress, about choosing to honor your space in a way that feels manageable. If you've got a mountain of dishes, start with one plate. If you're exhausted, just rinse a few forks. The point is to move toward clarity, not to stress yourself out chasing an ideal. And you know what's beautiful about this? It's that one small choice can lead to another, like stepping stones across that river we talked about earlier. Before you know it, you're not just clearing your sink, you're clearing space for something bigger, something brighter. This brings us to another layer of this conversation, one that ties your physical space to your spiritual growth in a way you might not expect. Let's take a moment to picture something. You're sitting in a quiet temple, the air thick with the scent of incense, and there's a monk nearby, calmly sweeping the stone path. Every stroke of the broom is deliberate, unhurried, like they're not just cleaning, but creating space for peace. This is what we're talking about when we say a clean sink can shift your life. It is not just about the dishes, it's about cultivating a mindset that invites clarity and abundance. In Buddhist teachings, there's this beautiful idea that your outer world mirrors your inner world. A cluttered sink isn't just a pile of plates, it's a reflection of how you're holding on to things, maybe stress, maybe doubt, that block your spiritual and material flow. Let us dive deeper into how this simple act of washing dishes can become a bridge to something bigger, something transformative. Imagine you're at the end of a long day. You're tired, maybe a little overwhelmed, and the last thing you want to do is tackle that sink. But here's the thing. That moment when you're standing there deciding whether to wash or walk away is a choice point. It's not just about cleanliness, it's about how you show up for yourself. In Eastern spirituality, small moments like these are sacred opportunities. They're chances to practice discipline, to say, I choose to care for my space, my energy, my life. It's like planting a seed of intention. And those seeds, they grow. They ripple out in ways you might not see right away, but can feel over time. Let's bring this to life with a story from my own experience. A while back I was going through a rough patch. Bills were piling up, my energy felt scattered, and I just couldn't seem to catch a break. My kitchen was a mess, dishes stacked high, and I kept telling myself I'd deal with it tomorrow. But tomorrow never came, and the mess grew, along with my stress. One night, I decided to try something different. I lit a candle, put on some soft music, and started washing the dishes slowly, intentionally. I didn't rush. I focused on the warmth of the water, the way the soap bubbled, the clink of the plates. It felt like a meditation, like I was washing away not just the grime, but the heaviness in my heart. The next morning, I woke up, and the kitchen felt alive. I felt lighter, too, like I'd cleared space for something new. Over the next few weeks, things started to shift. Unexpected opportunities popped up, and I felt more grounded, more open to possibility. This ties into a core idea in spirituality. Energy follows attention. Where you put your focus shapes your reality. When you leave dishes in the sink, you're giving attention to neglect, to putting things off. But when you wash them, you're directing your energy toward care, toward completion. In Buddhist terms, this is about living with right action, one of the steps on the Noble Eightfold Path. It's not about being perfect, it's about aligning your actions with your highest intentions. A clean sink becomes a small but powerful act of aligning your physical space with your spiritual goals. Here's something you can try right now, or at least tonight. Make washing your dishes a ritual. It doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe light a candle or play a song that lifts your spirit. As you wash, think about what you're letting go of, stress, doubt, or even just the chaos of the day. Picture the water carrying it all away. In many Eastern traditions, water is a symbol of purification, of renewal. By washing your dishes, you're not just cleaning your kitchen, you're cleansing your energy, making room for abundance to flow in. It's like telling the universe, I'm ready for more. And here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about your own energy, it's about the energy of your home. In practices like feng shui, the sink is tied to the element of water, which represents wealth and flow. A dirty sink disrupts that flow, creating stagnation that can manifest as financial struggles or spiritual blockages. A clean sink, on the other hand, keeps the water element in harmony, inviting prosperity. It's not magic in the fairy tale sense, but it's a kind of magic born from intention and action. You're signaling to yourself and the world that you're open, that you're ready to receive. Now, if you're thinking, okay, but I'm busy, and this feels like one more thing to do, I hear you. Life can be overwhelming and the last thing you need is another chore. But here is the beauty of this. It is not about adding more to your plate. It's about transforming something you already do into an act of mindfulness. You're not just washing dishes. You're clearing your energy, setting the stage for abundance. Start small. Maybe just wash 1 cup tonight. Notice how it feels. Build from there. It's like taking a deep breath in a crowded room. Suddenly there's space to move, to think, to dream. This leads us to another piece of this puzzle, something that ties your daily habits to the bigger picture of your life's flow. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a garden, one you've tended with care. The soil is rich, the plants are thriving, and there's a sense of life all around you. Now imagine letting weeds creep in, not because you don't care, but because you're too tired to pull them out. Over time, those weeds choke the flowers, dimming the garden's vibrancy. Your kitchen sink is like that garden. When you leave dishes piled up overnight, it's like letting those weeds take root, subtly draining the vitality of your space. We were not just talking about cleanliness here. We were exploring how this small choice connects to the flow of energy in your life, drawing on the wisdom of Eastern spirituality and the mindfulness at the heart of Buddhist practice. Let us dive into how this simple act can become a powerful tool for breaking through spiritual blockages and inviting abundance. Think about a time when you felt stuck, like no matter what you did, things just weren't moving forward. Maybe it was a job that felt stagnant, a relationship that wasn't growing, or even a sense that your dreams were just out of reach. In spiritual traditions, that stuck feeling is often tied to energy that's not flowing. In Buddhism, they talk about attachment, not just to things or people, but to habits, to patterns that keep us trapped in cycles of struggle. Leaving dishes in the sink might seem like a small thing, but it's a habit that can anchor you to stagnation. It's like holding on to a weight you don't even realize you're carrying. Let me share a story to bring this home. There was a woman named Lila who came to one of my mindfulness workshops. She was vibrant, full of ideas, but she kept saying she felt blocked, like her creativity and finances were stuck in quicksand. During a discussion about daily habits, she admitted she always left her dishes in the sink, telling herself she'd deal with them later. I suggested she try treating dishwashing as a practice of letting go, a way to release the day's heaviness. She was skeptical but gave it a shot. A week later, she came back glowing. She said washing her dishes each night felt like closing a chapter, like she was telling the universe, "I'm done with today's chaos and I'm ready for tomorrow." She started sketching again, something she hadn't done in months, and even landed a small freelance gig. It wasn't just about the dishes, it was about the shift in her energy, the way she reclaimed her space and her intention. This connects to a beautiful concept in Eastern spirituality, the idea that your home is a sacred space, a reflection of your inner world. In Feng Shui, the kitchen is tied to the energy of nourishment and prosperity, and the sink, as the home of the water element, is especially powerful. Water flows, carries life, and symbolizes wealth. A sink full of dirty dishes is like a dam in that flow, blocking the current. When you clear it, you're not just tidying up, you're restoring the natural movement of energy. It's like removing a stone from a stream, letting the water run free again. Here's something you can do tonight to tap into this. As you wash your dishes, think of it as a cleansing ritual, not a chore. Picture each plate as a piece of the day you're letting go of, maybe a stressful moment, a worry, or even a doubt about yourself. As you rinse it clean, imagine washing away those blocks, creating space for something new. You can even whisper a simple intention, like, "I release what holds me back and welcome what lifts me up." It's not about saying the perfect words, it's about feeling the shift, connecting with the act. In Buddhist practice, this is called skillful effort, choosing actions that align with your highest good. And here's where it gets really powerful. This isn't just about your kitchen. It's about how you approach all the small moments in your life. Every time you choose to clear the sink, you're practicing discipline, mindfulness, and respect for your environment. Those qualities spill over into other areas, how you manage your time, your money, your relationships. It's like training a muscle. The more you practice small acts of care, the stronger your ability to create abundance becomes. In spiritual terms, you realigning with the principle of impermanence, letting go of what no longer serves you to make room for what does. If you're feeling overwhelmed, start small. You don't need to transform your whole life overnight. Maybe tonight, just wash one mug. Notice how it feels to complete that tiny task. Let it be a moment of presence, a gift to yourself. Over time, those moments add up, like drops of water filling a bucket. And you know what's amazing about this? It's that these small choices can lead to a bigger shift, one that opens doors you didn't even know were there. This brings us to another layer of this conversation, something that connects your daily habits to the deeper currents of your life's purpose. Imagine you're holding a lantern on a dark night, its soft glow lighting your path just enough to take the next step. That's what this journey of clearing your sink and your energy is like. It's not about seeing the whole road ahead, but about illuminating the moment you're in, trusting that each step forward opens the way to something brighter. We've been talking about how leaving dirty dishes overnight can block the flow of abundance and create spiritual stagnation, drawing on the wisdom of Buddhism and Eastern spirituality. Now let us explore how this small act of washing dishes can become a gateway to aligning your life with purpose, breaking free from patterns that keep you stuck, and inviting prosperity in ways that feel both practical and profound. Think about the last time you felt truly in tune with yourself, like everything was clicking, like you were in the right place at the right time. That's what spiritual alignment feels like, and it often starts with the simplest things. In Buddhist teachings, there's this idea of being fully present in the ordinary moments, because those moments are where life happens. Washing your dishes isn't just a task, it's a chance to practice presence, to anchor yourself in the now. When you leave dishes in the sink, you're carrying the weight of later into your present, and that weight can ripple into your energy, your mindset, even your opportunities. But when you clear the sink, you're saying, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm open. Let's ground this with a story. I once met a man named Javier at a community meditation group. He was frustrated, feeling like his life was a series of missed chances, jobs that didn't pan out, relationships that fizzled. His apartment was cluttered, especially his kitchen, where dishes would pile up for days. During a discussion about mindfulness, I suggested he try treating his dishwashing as a daily practice, not just a chore. He decided to give it a go, approaching it like a ritual. He'd light a small incense stick, play some calming music, and focus on the act of cleaning. He told me later that it felt like he was washing away more than just food scraps. He was letting go of old regrets, creating space for new possibilities. Over time, he noticed his days felt smoother, his mind clearer. He even landed a job that felt like a perfect fit, something he hadn't thought possible. Was it all because of the dishes? Not exactly. But that small act of intention set off a chain reaction, aligning his energy with his goals. This ties into a deeper principle in Eastern spirituality, the idea that your environment shapes your destiny. In Feng Shui, a cluttered or neglected kitchen can disrupt the flow of qi, the life force that carries prosperity and health. Your sink, as the hub of the water element, is especially potent. Water is fluid, ever-moving, a symbol of wealth and renewal. A sink full of dirty dishes is like a stagnant pond, holding on to old energy. A clean sink, on the other hand, is like a flowing river inviting fresh opportunities. It's not about superstition. It's about creating a space that supports your highest intentions. Here is a practical way to bring this into your life tonight. As you wash your dishes, think of it as a conversation with your home. Thank it for nourishing you, for being your sanctuary. Picture the water as a current of abundance, carrying away anything that no longer serves you, doubt, fear, or even just the stress of the day. You don't need fancy tools or hours of time. Just a moment of connection, a breath, a pause. In Buddhist practice, this is called cultivating gratitude in action. It's about seeing the sacred in the everyday, turning a mundane task into a step towards spiritual clarity. And here is something to consider. This isn't just about your kitchen. It is about how you approach all the small things in your life. Every time you choose to clear the sink, you're practicing self-discipline, showing yourself that you can take control of your space and your energy. That discipline spills over into other areas, how you handle your work, your relationships, your dreams. It's like building a foundation, brick by brick. In spiritual terms, it's about creating karma, positive actions that ripple outward, shaping your future in ways you can't always predict but can feel in your bones. If this feels like a lot, don't worry. You don't have to be perfect. Maybe your sink is overflowing right now, and the thought of tackling it feels daunting. Start with 1 spoon, 1 glass. Make it a tiny victory, celebrate it. In Eastern traditions, they say that even the smallest step toward mindfulness is a step toward liberation. You're not just cleaning your kitchen, you're clearing a path for abundance, for joy, for a life that feels more like you. This leads us to another piece of this puzzle, something that connects these daily rituals to the bigger picture of living with intention and purpose. Imagine you're walking through a forest, the air crisp, the path ahead winding gently. Every step feels like a release, like you're shedding something heavy and making space for something new. That's what we're talking about when we say washing your dishes each night can shift your life. It is not just about a clean kitchen. It's about creating a flow, a rhythm that aligns your energy with the abundance you're seeking. Rooted in the wisdom of Buddhism and Eastern spirituality, this simple act becomes a practice of intention, a way to clear spiritual blockages and invite prosperity. Let's dive into how this connects to the bigger picture of living with purpose, and how it can transform not just your home, but your entire outlook. Think about a moment when you felt truly free, like the weight of the world was off your shoulders, and you could just be. Maybe it was after a good laugh with a friend or a quiet evening when everything felt right. That sense of freedom often comes when we let go of what's holding us back, even in small ways. In Buddhist teachings, letting go is at the heart of spiritual growth. It's not about abandoning your responsibilities or dreams. It's about releasing the clutter, the habits, the patterns that keep you stuck. Leaving dirty dishes in the sink overnight might seem like a minor thing, but it's a subtle form of holding on, of delaying care for yourself and your space. When you wash those dishes, you're letting go, creating space for clarity and possibility. Let's bring this to life with a story. I once knew a woman named Aisha, a single mum, who felt like she was always playing catch-up, bills, work, kids, life. Her kitchen was her breaking point. The sink was always full, a constant reminder of everything she hadn't gotten to. She felt trapped, like abundance was something other people had. During a conversation about mindfulness, I shared how small acts like washing dishes could shift energy. She decided to try it, treating it like a nightly reset. She'd put her kids to bed, play some soft music, and wash the dishes with intention, imagining she was clearing away not just the mess, but her worries. Over time, she noticed a change. Her home felt calmer, her mind less chaotic. She even started finding small moments of joy, like laughing with her kids over breakfast in a clean kitchen. Money didn't pour in overnight, but opportunities started to appear. A promotion at work, a neighbor offering to help with childcare. It was like the universe was responding to her shift in energy. This connects to a powerful idea in Eastern spirituality. Your home is a mirror of your soul. In practices like feng shui, the kitchen is the heart of prosperity, and the sink, tied to the water element, is a symbol of flow and wealth. Our sink full of dishes is like a dam in that flow, blocking the energy of abundance. A clean sink, on the other hand, is like an open channel, inviting blessings in. It's not about being superstitious. It's about understanding that your actions shape your environment, and your environment shapes your life. When you clear the sink, you're telling yourself and the universe that you're ready for more peace, more opportunity, more joy. Here's something you can try tonight to make this real. As you wash your dishes, turn it into a moment of gratitude. Think about the food you ate, the hands that prepared it, the people you shared it with. Let the act of washing be a thank you to your life, a way to honor the nourishment you've received. In Buddhist practice, gratitude transforms even the most mundane tasks into acts of devotion. You can even add a simple intention like, as I clean this space, I open my heart to abundance. It's not about the words, it's about the feeling, the connection to the moment. You'll be amazed at how this shifts the energy in your home. And here's where it gets deep. This practice isn't just about your kitchen, it is about how you show up in every corner of your life. Every time you choose to wash the dishes, you're practicing mindfulness, discipline, and care. Those qualities ripple outward, affecting how you approach your work, your relationships, your dreams. It's like tuning an instrument. Each small adjustment makes the music of your life sound clearer, more harmonious. In spiritual terms, you're creating positive karma, setting the stage for blessings to flow. If this feels overwhelming, don't stress. You don't need a perfect kitchen or a perfect life. Maybe tonight you just rinse one plate. Maybe you just wipe down the counter. The point is to start, to take one small step toward caring for your space. In Eastern traditions, they say that even a single mindful act can plant the seed for transformation. You're not just cleaning, you're creating a foundation for abundance, one dish at a time. This brings us to the final piece of this journey, a way to tie it all together and make it stick. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a new day, the air fresh, the possibilities endless, like the first light breaking over a calm horizon. That's the feeling we're chasing here, not just a clean sink, but a life that feels open, vibrant, and ready for whatever comes next. We've been exploring how something as simple as washing your dishes each night can shift your energy, drawing on Buddhist wisdom and Eastern spirituality to clear spiritual blockages and invite abundance. Now let's bring it all together, tying these small acts to a bigger vision of living with intention, purpose, and joy. This is about making it real, making it yours, and stepping into a flow that transforms your life. Let's start with a moment of honesty. Life can feel heavy sometimes. Bills, responsibilities, dreams that seem just out of reach. It's easy to let small things, like a pile of dishes, slide, thinking they don't matter. But in the gentle teachings of Buddhism, every moment matters. Every choice, no matter how small, shapes your path. Washing your dishes isn't about chasing perfection or avoiding some mystical curse. It's about showing up for yourself, creating a space that feels like a sanctuary rather than a burden. It's about saying, I deserve a life that flows, that feels alive. Let me share one last story to light this up. There was a young artist named May who felt like her creativity had dried up. She was struggling financially. Her apartment was a mess, and the sink was always full of dishes. She felt stuck, like her spark was gone. During a meditation retreat, a teacher spoke about how physical clutter can mirror inner chaos. May decided to start small. Every night she'd wash her dishes, treating it like a ritual to clear her mind. She'd light a candle, focus on the water, and imagine washing away her doubts. It wasn't instant, but over weeks she felt a shift. Her studio felt more inviting. Her ideas started flowing again, and she sold a painting for the first time in months. It was like the act of clearing her sink had cleared a path for her creativity, her abundance, her joy. This connects to a profound truth in Eastern spirituality. Your actions create your reality. In Feng Shui, a clean sink keeps the water element, tied to wealth and flow in harmony. In Buddhist practice, it's about right effort, choosing actions that align with your highest good. When you wash your dishes, you're not just cleaning, you're creating a sacred space, a home that supports your dreams. You're telling the universe, I'm ready for more. And the universe listens. Here's the ritual I promised at the start, something you can do tonight to seal this practice. As you wash your dishes, make it a moment of intention. Fill a small bowl with water, add a pinch of salt for purification, and place it near the sink. As you wash, picture the water carrying away any heaviness, stress, fear, or stagnation. When you're done, pour the bowl of water outside or down the drain, saying, I release what holds me back and welcome abundance. Then take a deep breath and notice how your kitchen feels. This isn't about magic. It's about intention, about aligning your energy with possibility. To close this cycle, know that you don't have to do this perfectly. Life isn't about perfection. It's about progress, about small steps that lead to big shifts. You don't need a spotless sink every night, just the willingness to start, to show up for yourself. Maybe tonight you wash one cup. Maybe tomorrow you do a few more. Each act is a seed, planting the possibility of abundance, of clarity, of joy. In spiritual terms, it's about living with mindfulness, letting every choice reflect the life you want to create. If any part of this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Share your story. What's your kitchen like right now? How does it feel to think about clearing it? I love hearing what you're experiencing, and if you want more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. It really helps keep this conversation going. If you made it to the end, comment "I'm in" so I know you're ready to make it happen. Remember, you don't need big changes to live better. Sometimes it's one small choice, like washing a single dish, that ignites everything. You deserve a life that flows, that feels alive. You're already on the path. Keep going.